Hello, good morning, good rising, 26th of May 2019. The time is 1 o'clock and 25 minutes past, 24 minutes past. Hello, scribes. Check the title, nice bit of imagery there. Just about to go up the wooden hill, and I thought I'm going to lay down these, whoever's up around the realm, across the continents. I can't come on camera, I'm just sat in a vest in the yard. There's nothing to look at. I would like you to concentrate, and don't concentrate on my finger or you will lose sight of the glory of the moon. Bit of Bruce Lee for you, I believe. Go Home, Club of Rome and the papacy. I've got a 6-page document of it's probably going to be a 20-page document. It's a chronological. G-Star and me have been talking about chronological events, and I've brought to you some documents and videos previously of historical conceptualizations, and this this should be nice for you. I hope you enjoy it. So it's called Go Home, Club of Rome and the papacy. It contains many things. 6 pages. Are you ready? Pens, paper, get a brew. We're off. All right, scribes. Thank you. Good morning, good day, blessings, love and light. Thus, declaration of Bible truth containing the accurate, detailed, chronological depiction and my view on the current state of and use of military force upon my family here on England's lands. I, countryman David of the house Jeremita, will endeavour to give you my research and findings on the seas and crowns with my croaky voice. This is just a test cast, all right? This is not the real one. It's just a chat with friends. The seas and crowns of London, Washington and Rome up to press. So, forgive me for where I start, okay? But I'm starting here. There's a reason for that, and those that have, the research maybe will see why I've started here. So our story begins after the flood, okay? Soft stars, scribes, famalan, herbalists, digital researchers, my true family. It's bedtime. Here's your story, all right? And our story begins after the flood. After Noah and their sons and wives went forth from the ark, there was a man begotten by his grandson Cush, whose name was Nimrod. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord, where it is said, even as Nimrod. Nimrod is an aeroplane in the US arsenal, by the way, as I happen to notice where that name comes from. Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. The beginning of his kingdom was Babel, which means confusion. The name Nimrod means rebellion. Nimrod was a rebel against God, and as a leader of the kingdom of Babylon, Nimrod was also connected with the building of the Tower of Babel. And they said, go to, let us build a city in a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, according to the historian Josephus. Thank you, Santos, because the antiquities of the Jews is also mentioned in there, but also Santos, if I'm honest with you, fam, that's where Josephus, I latched on to that name from him. So according to the historian Josephus, Nimrod said he would be revenged on God if he should have a mind to drown the world again, for that he would build a tower too high for the waters to reach, and he would avenge himself on God for destroying their forefathers. The motive for the building of the Tower of Babel, according to Josephus, was to protect humanity against another flood. Before the flood, God saw the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. When God saw the children of men were building a tower in rebellion against him, he wanted to put an end to it, and said, go to, let us go down there and confound their language. That go to, let us, hey, let us, Elohim, gods, Lord God, Lord God, Lord of the gods. So he said, let us go down there and confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth. Tradition says that Nimrod's wife was also his mother and granddaughter of Noah. According to various legends, Simara- Semiramis became pregnant after engaging in an adulterous affair while married to Nimrod. Around this time, Nimrod dies a violent and untimely death. In an effort to retain power and to hide her misdeeds, Semiramis makes the most audacious claim. She publicly decrees that upon Nimrod's death he had been resurrected as the god of the sun and as the sun god. What? Yes. Nimrod uses his sun rays to miraculously inseminate Semiramis with a child. That's her story. That's not the actual claim of this publication. This child was thus considered to be divinely conceived. Imagine that. What does that sound like, everyone? Hello. This child was thus considered to be divinely conceived. The child's name was Tammuz, Tammuz, which she claimed was the reincarnation of Nimrod. Thus, Semiramis was both Nimrod's wife and mother. After the scattering that occurs at the Tower of Babel, the story of the miraculous conception of this child's birth disseminated throughout the world and led to the rise of, guess what, fam? Sun worship, along with the various birth, death, and rebirth cults that are littered throughout history. These mystery religions of future generations adopted different names for Nimrod, Semiramis, and her child Tammuz. This was the birth of paganism. Now, this little page here, page 2, I believe, is entitled History's Timeline. This is where I begin. The Egyptian Book of the Dead. Now, if you're anything like me, you would probably love to study mythology. And if that's true, this book may well be your introduction into false gods and goddesses. You have Isis and Horus from Egyptian mythology, which most atheists will say it is an older version of Mary and Jesus Christ. And of course, you have other Mary and Christ-like deities and other mystery religions such as Norse mythology, Greek, Roman, and Babylonian mythology that predate Christianity. Why is this so? How is it that there are so many virgin birth religions around the world way before Christ was even born into humanity? This was the question I, David, was asking myself many years ago. The thing that I happen to notice is the birth of pagan religions came about after the flood. But the prophecy of a virgin birth was declared by God way before any of that shit. In Genesis 3, verses 14 and 15, soon after Santa had succeeded in causing Adam and Eve to sin, God declared what to him? He declared his fate. The Lord God, that's the big G of all the G's, the Master Elohim, the Most High, we'll call him, yeah, for want of better, said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field, until thy belly shall thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Now, I've read that verbatim about seed and woman, and that's what you're thinking. Women don't have seeds, men have seeds, man has seeds, X and Y. God told the serpent that the seed of the woman will bruise his head. Now, in every case, the seed always comes from a man, which enters the woman and does the conception of a baby. The enemy knew that this was not to be an ordinary seed, and that this was not to be an ordinary birth. Satan knew that it would be a virgin birth, because he's just had a chat with G there, look. And so he devised a plan through Semiramis and fathered these counterfeit virgin birth religions throughout the ancient world, along with the worship of the sun or SON gods instead. Worship, when you give yourself to the Most High, a God, a religion, a faith, a something, a drug, a man, anything. You worship, you submit yourself to that. So when you stop submitting yourself to that and you submit yourself to yourself and your own mental mind and whims and cravings and so forth, and you break your codes and morals and you've submitted to yourself, so you've stopped serving, so your actions directly, everybody's is worship. This is being written because of the choice of words and the words and how they go together, and like I said yesterday with Kevin, the accuracy involved in some of this and the word play. So this he did to put doubts in the minds of men by questioning all of these counterfeits, faiths. At the minute, I've brought to you that there's 30,000 derivatives of Christianity. 30,000, mother. Which one is right? So, which Jesus story is the authentic? So today we have the atheists ridiculing Christians, saying we do not know what we believe because there are so many religions with a story similar to Christ's. Little did they know these false religions were set up by that man Satan to promote false worship and idolatry. So how do we know if God truly does exist? How do we know which God is the authentic God? I am called Brother David, and I'm here to divide the minds of men. If you look up David in Hebrew, you will find DVD. You get a mirror and you put a line, of symmetry for DVD. You will find that DVD is divisible and can be divided in itself. So a little bit of play on mirror and imagery and what we're doing here. So much like the Club of Rome has divided man's souls, hearts and men's minds, let us play on. I believe the Bible prophecy is one of the many strong evidences that a God does truly exist and that the God of the Bible is the one true God. And to declare, I'm not quoting Christianity or anything here, I'm talking about a book and a story, okay? I have faith, I don't have the religion of such in itself because of the confusion of which I've just mentioned above. So we move on to declare over 2,500, 2,500 years of human history in point accuracy before it even started coming to pass is nothing ordinary. Let me tell you now. We're going to the book of Daniel for this one. In Daniel's chapter, I find a very interesting account of things. Okay, so in the book of Daniel, it was written about 600 years before the time of Christ. The entire book was written by Daniel the prophet himself, except for chapter 4, which was written by King Nebuchadnezzar. The name Daniel comes from the juxtaposition, juxtaposition, juxtaposition of two words, Elohim meaning God and Dan meaning judge. Dan Il. The name Daniel means God is judge. Just out of interest there, just make a note of that. Daniel, not a bad name to be fair. I quite like that name now. Don't you? Don't you just? The story of Daniel began in a tragedy. God's people had been disobedient to God's laws, and since they were stubborn and disobeyed, God had to send them adversity. Sounds about right, doesn't it? Whenever you're stubborn and disobey, like a bit of adversity, austerity. The nation of Babylon came to destroy Jerusalem and carry away some of their finest and best young men into Babylon. They were trained in the customs and societies, governments and cultures of the Babylonians. Daniel was one of those who were trained to be among the wise men or magicians in Babylon. Now, in Daniel chapter 2, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon had a dream that disturbed him from his sleep. Now, we all know about that. We've all had many of them. Oh, yes, we have. Big Barry and so forth. The numbers, crazy things, getting cut in half. I've had many. They're all my dreams, by the way. So he was disturbed from his sleep, and he had a scene. He had a sense that the dream was important. It's my dyslexia, but he forgot what the dream was about. So he called in the Chaldeans or Chaldeans. These were some of the wise men of Babylon, and the king asked them to tell him what the dream was and what was the interpretation of the dream. The king was as king them to read his mind. This was impossible, but remember, the king, he paid these wise men to know things that the common people, common men, did not know. So the king expected them to know the dream and its interpretation. Shit the bed. Imagine being called up in the middle of the night. Big man wants you. What for? You'll find out when you get there. The king was furious to have learned that these wise men could not do the things what they said they could do. Subsequently, the king ordered the death of all the wise men and the courts of Babylon. Daniel was one of those who were put to death. Bad luck, that's just my luck. You got a new job? Yeah, just started. When today? Oh, what's happening? Well, I'm a magician as it happens. I'm only a magician. Wicked, where at? For the king. Shit, what? You're working for the king as a magician? Yeah. And you think you've got it hard? I don't know. We'll see what happens. Oh, well, I wish it was you. And then some time later, all magicians and courtsmen are dead. What? Oh. Hey, do you want to swap jobs? Sometimes when you read these stories, you wonder if they are actually real or if they're just written in such a way so the story goes away to lead you down. I don't know what's happening tonight with my voice. I've been nursing Anne-Marie, who's extremely sick and feverish, and perhaps it may be the onset of croaky sore throat. We'll see. Bad luck about the job, though, isn't it? Job. Hebrew for Daniel was one of those who were to be put to death. When it came time for our Daniel to be killed, he asked why so the decree and why so urgent. One of the king's guards, Arioch, made it known to Daniel the reason why, and so Daniel petitioned for time that he and his Israelite friends could pray about the dream. Petitioned, nice choice of words there. In verse 19 of Daniel 2, the Bible says that God gave Daniel the dream in a night vision. After he asked God for the eyes to see, God gave him the eyes to see, and Daniel boldly met with the king to tell him what the dream was and what it was about. Most importantly, there is a God in heaven who reveals secrets and alone can interpret the dream. So are you ready, scribes? This is where it gets interesting. Those of you that have stuck around, 12, and me, 13. Okay, that's good enough for 1:40 in the AM of Sunday. The dream was this. King Nebuchadnezzar, saw a giant statue with the head of gold, the chest and arms of silver, the belly and thighs of bronze, legs of iron, and feet and toes, partly of iron and partly of potter's clay. Then a stone was cut out without hands and struck the statue on its feet and flushed the whole statue completely, and then that stone became a great mountain that filled the whole earth. It's not a bad dream so far as dreams go, Kingy. That's not bad. So with the help of God, Daniel declares to the king what his dream was and tells the king the interpretation. You can find out there, Christian books out there that will tell you the statue is the EU or the United Nations. Well, what does the Bible actually say before we go making radical assumptions and presumptions about what metaphorically these, stories are actually pointing out about events in the future, way off in the future that actually haven't happened, Wow, it's just incredible. So we're going on. Stating in verse 37 of Daniel 2, Daniel reminds the king how glorious his kingdom was, and then he says, you are this head of gold. The head of gold is King Nebuchadnezzar and the kingdom of Babylon. Then Daniel says that after the kingdom of Babylon, a kingdom of silver shall arise, and then after that, a kingdom of bronze shall rule the world, and then a fourth kingdom, a kingdom of iron, shall shatter them all, and that fourth kingdom, it shall be divided. So what Daniel was trying to say was that this statue was a great big timeline, and each metal represents a kingdom. Yesterday on the chat with Kev, I did say about the gold, silver, bronze, iron, paper, and going digital, the way that we're going with the valuation of our societies, of what we use, value, intrinsic value, transfer, discharge, beneficiaries. So it's all relevant. Each metal represent a kingdom. Daniel says that Babylon was the head of gold, and that those other metals after gold represent the soon coming willed world ruling empires that will conquer after Babylon. Who then was the chest and arms of silver? Well, fam, scribes, who conquered Babylon? Despite Nebuchadnezzar's desires and indeed ambitions, Babylon did not continue forever. Despite what we've said, I have the t-shirt, it's just a play on words, but it kind of lives on in, yes, in some ways, but physically, Babylon, the empire, is not on the maps anymore. It is not there. It's gone. So it did not continue forever. It was eventually conquered by the Medo-Persian Empire led by Cyrus the Great, who ruled 539 BC to 331 BC. Medo-Persia was the chest and arms of silver. Now then, fam, I already hear you. Who conquered Medo-Persia, Dave? Well, it was, of course, the Macedonian, Alexander the Great. This is where it links in with Santos and the previous video that I've done about the Phoenicians and the Jesuits and the who and the how and the what and the black cardinals, pope, black nobility. It was, of course, Alexander the Great who led the kingdom of Greece, which ruled the world from 331 BC to 168 BC. Alexander was one of the greatest military minds of all time, allegedly. I wasn't alive, I didn't know him, but this is what the books say. And an interesting fact, the Greek weapons were made out of what, everybody? What were they made out of? Can we think? Can you Adam and Eve it? They were made out of bronze. Rocha. So Greece was the belly and thighs of bronze. Who then conquered Greece? All right, calm down, scribes. It's like nearly 2 a.m. Just finished, writing the introduction into the next publication of the Club of Rome Go Home, and you just give me too much pressure, fam. Too much pressure. Who conquered Greece? Let me think. On June the 22nd, 168 BC, at the Battle of Pydna, the empire of Alexander the Great, 144 years after his death, the empire perished under the iron monarchy of whom? Whom was it? Whom was it? Can you bet? Bets on. Hip, poddy, poddy, hip, poddy, poddy. Give me the bets, give me the bets. Who was it? Who was it that conquered them? The iron monarchy of... Come on, the iron. It wasn't Margaret Thatcher. She was the Iron Lady. It's close, but you're not right. Here's Mr. Chips with another chance. Another chance. Sit down. Sit down. The Iron Monarchy of Rome. In verse 40 of Daniel 2, it says that this fourth kingdom shall be as strong as iron, inasmuch as iron can break and shatter everything into pieces. Iron can crush, number 25, gold and silver and bronze. Rome was the greatest empire. I need help. Rome was the greatest empire of antiquity. Jesus Christ was nailed to a Roman cross 31 AD. Now what gets me there is, how can it be 31 AD if he's only just been nailed to the cross? I thought we started at 0. Crazy. Well, that question can be answered for those that have noticed that. I did too. Jerusalem was sacked by the Roman army in 70 AD. Ties in with bits we've found before. You can check that shizzle out. The legs of iron were the Roman Empire. The Club of Rome. Hello everyone, we're the Club of Rome. That's who they are. One had a silver leg, one had a gold leg. It's not C3PO, but it's close. I hear what you say is going on. Who conquered Rome? Well, first chapter 41 of Daniel 2 says that this fourth kingdom will not be conquered, inasmuch it shall be divided. For those that are paying attention at this time, that's what I said at the beginning. That's what I'm still saying now. We know that the fourth kingdom was what? Come on, who's paying attention? It was Rome. That's right. If we search down history's timelines, we will find that Rome was indeed divided and not conquered. Then we cannot deny the truth that this book is shit you not declared it from the past. Is it a supernatural book? Questions need to be asked. So, we carry on. Was Rome conquered or was Rome divided? All right, I'll answer that for you. Calm down, scribes. What is with you lot tonight? Rome was in fact not conquered from without, but was divided from within. By 285 AD, the Roman Empire had grown so vast and bulbous that it was no longer feasible to govern all the provinces from the central seat of Rome. Oh no, that won't do. We need to expand, and I'd like a bigger office. The empire the emperor Diocletian divided the empire in half, with the Eastern Empire governed out of Byzantium, little known as Constantinople, and the Western Empire was governed from Rome. Not only was Rome divided in half, but from 351 AD to 476 AD, Rome was picked apart and divided even more by 10 barbarian tribes. Here goes the heat. Turn up the heat, Dave. They became the 10 countries in Europe. Shh. Divided Rome is the feat, partly of iron and partly of potter's clay. That's right, Potter. I thought it interesting that Rome was divided into what? 10 countries at the feet era of this prophecy statue. And is it a coincidence that feet have 10 toes? Very interesting, is it not? All right, Dave, if you think, who are these tribes? What do you mean tribes? Tribes? Well, I don't know about tribes. Well, come on then, let's have a look then. Who are they then? Who are these barbarian tribes? Give me the names. Okay, Alemanni, Germans, Alemanni, Germans. The Burgundians, Burgundians, the Swiss. The Franks, that's very hard to work out that one. If you've guessed French, you're right, Franks is the French. Lombards, Lom for mother, Bards. They are, hey, ciao bello, the Italianos. The Saxons, Saxons, full house, that's right, it is, the English. The Suevi, that is Suevi, they are the Portuguese house. Now, Visigoths, Visigoths, Spanish, hola señorita. Now these three are all extinct, it says from my findings, research and diligence. Heruli, Heruli. Ostrogoths, Ostrogoths. And last but not least, number 10 on the list, extinct number 3, the Vandals, Vandals, the Vandals. And that's it, that's as far as I've got. That's page 5 of 6. So I told a lie. You told me a lie word. What are you doing to me? Yeah, 5 of 6. So if you like that, I've got about a 40-page document to bring to you with a timeline lineage of clarity and the fact of how it sucked up to the pagan traditions, the Roman Empire, and then, as we said, with the cardinals and the Jesuits and the monarchy and the black nobility and Carthage and Venice and the Venetians and everything what Santos has brought, everything what what's he called now, not Romney Stewart, what Jordan Maxwell's brought. This is all bang on, but it's all too fragmented and confusing, and 7-hour seminars after 7-hour seminars after conflicting information while this shit's going down. They have essentially Jupiter, that just ripped me in half. That one just shattered my soul. I went, you're having a giraffe, aren't you? You're telling me that Peter was made into the planet Jupiter was made into the man Peter, and this shit's not about Zastro's theological connections of justice, right, and intent, and serving and worship. Holy crumbs! That means that every man on this planet is sinning just by trying to help someone and do good, because of the way that it's set up on a holistic level, of which these academic mother and these churches, the 30,000 derivatives, mother, they talk about trying to trick you. You are right. Everything you think is bang on. Everything you see is bang on. I just thought, I've got to write about this now, and I've got to put it down. I've got to put this shit down. So I'm pleased to say that Kevin's document is on the .com. It was done at 8 p.m. tonight because, to be quite frank with you, Saturday's my day off. I know it's an urgent thing, but on a bank holiday weekend, so there's no rush for nothing because you've got Monday still. Yeah, and if you haven't, I'm grafting Monday in trade, but still there is Monday for the catching up of, because offices are shut. So it's on. Thank you, Kevin. Much love. Incredible chat last night. Much loved it, and I'm sure we're gonna have some fatter chats. I've got so much to catch up with today. I just looking after the Queen and the Princess, and looking after my own personal errands, tasks, and duties that needed to be done. So this document is supplementary to going from public to private and everything else. But this is after what Smithy was bringing up and what we've chatted about, and other such things that are going off, and emails that I'm getting, and confusion. And I'd like to give my offspring and Yanka and the little ones that come after us a lot more of a head start than what we've had to do, because let's face it, we're still knee deep in the shit and nobody knows who, what, why, where and when. You know, I'm not looking to lead, I'm not looking to take over, I'm not looking for glory, I'm not looking for shit. All I'm looking for is clarity and a clear conscience and a way forward with us all, not, you know, the Joneses. You know, they're going first because they've got blue blood, and John's never been in trouble. He's ever such a nice man. He knows the Chancellor. Yes, yes, they do business. Yes, and they actually was in a club together. Yes, it's a tremendous story, isn't it? Yes, yes. Fuck that shit. The time is done. You know, there's a lot of blood and dirtiness in this historical timeline, and I, for one, stand here tall and stand here proud at 2 o'clock in the morning, not like a crazy man, but just like a man with revelations. It's going to be a revelation, just like the nightclub Niche in Sheffield, when we used to have that baseline skank, and it was indeed a revelation to be amongst such a vibe, a vibrant sound of club vibe in Sheffield with the baseline skank wobbler. Part 3, Chillowski. Oh my days. So this is all we do. We entertain, we bring, we divide, we cause you to think, we make you pause and stop, rewind, bow selector. Yeah, I know. Sturdy job, and someone's got to do it. We've had a dirty job done on us, and I, for one, I'm not happy about the position we've all been left in and the time we have less to fix this shite. Who we got? Let's go another way. Selection: William, Tommy, Jesse, Mandy, Mandy, Jesse, Alison. Easy. Gatekeepers. Astrotheology became it's bloody important, and it's key essential knowledge to know who and what and where you are and what's going on. So yes, this publication will take me about a week on top of everything else, but yeah, it will be put out there, and we're going to correct the confusion. So good morning to the, or good rising to the night owls. A happy strong end, bank holiday, clouds are upon us. I saw a UFO last night. For all that are here, it was at least 5 miles in length. When I say at least, it was a whopper. I've never seen any kind of apparition, event, visage like it in my life. And I was on the hangout with Kev. It was an important talk with the army guy, I think, at that point, if I remember rightly. And yes, I looked up, and there was about 10,000 little tiny bright stars in a tube-like shape slowly shifting across the sky, as if it was an everyday occurrence. It was in my back garden next to the shed. There's no witnesses, couldn't get accurate video footage of it. I asked 2 days ago to be given the eyes to see, because the language is still confusing me. I am a little bit foggy in certain areas of code, and you know, weird bits. So I had a little chat with the big G there, with the Most High, as I would like to recall. We'll call him, I will reference as, and I says, give me these eyes, I want to see, let me see, if there's out more to see, I need to see it. How do I going to go forward? How am I going to push through? So 2 days ago, give me eyes to see. 48 hours later, massive train of tiny little thousands of stars in a tube shape, very silent, very massive, very bright, nobody screaming, no other noise, nothing, just silent. It went into a cloud, and I've seen nothing like it. So I will be adminning tomorrow and looking at emails and messages and whatnot. Keep your eyes peeled. Weird things are going on, let me tell you now. What's my thought on King's Bench? It kicks arse. It deals in equity. You get a Grand Master. Yeah, look at the Master of the Rolls. When I say Master of the Rolls, I'm not talking about Subway ownership. I'm talking about the Master of the Rolls. The Chancery High Court Division is the King's bench, Queen's Bench. Look at those divisions, get some documents from the .com, search Chancery, and you will find everything you need to know. The history, the kings, the conscience, the construct of it, and yes, it kicks ass. It's the only way to go for man. Hold on to chat. Easy, actually, Clint. Nice one, Clint. Good to know. Shivai, you've just missed a massive cast. I suggest you rewind selector. Much love. I'm going UFO. You say I might die. Easy. No, on my soul in front of the Most High. There was something not right in the sky last night. I am telling you now. It wasn't a disc shape. It wasn't a ship shape. It wasn't a light shape. It was something like thousands of little things in a cluster of a tube shape. Yes, 5 miles long. It wasn't tiny. It was up in the. It was below the clouds because it was going into the clouds. So whatever altitude the clouds were hovering at in a grey, gloomy, cold, the evening of May, that's where they were at. And it proceeded to go into the cloud. And I was on my own. I have no witnesses. I tried to film it. Nothing. Fumbling, unprepared. I did say P900 crew, start looking up. Weird things are happening. I see lots of dots all the time. I've bought a laser from the Chinese outlets that you've got on your Androids and devices, and it's a blue one, and it goes well far. It can burn stuff, and I do enjoy flicking and looking up at night time to see if you can have a chat. You get what I'm saying? But last night, our whole arms and hairs and everything went on edge. So yes, very, very strange, unique sight. Just like a lot of lights, LEDs in the sky in a tube shape, just gently shimmying past you. That's right. So much love. This publication will be a week long, but we are going to set the record straight, and in our research and diligence, and I have the job of putting the fragmented crap into a timeline document, so then anybody that wants to come and have a chat or argue, or that's confused or that doesn't quite understand, then yes, this would actually answer quite a lot. And it was brought on by Smithy's renditions of certain chapters, made me go back and look at certain bits of references, research, documents, scribble, and videos of our brother Santos and Josephus, the antiquities of the Jews. Anybody that knows me from when I was little, and you're wondering, how did David get on this path? It's as much a mystery to me as it is you. Just know that everything happens for a reason, and there's no such thing as coincidence. So much love to you, scribes, and yes, I will see you soon. Unless you want to chat or you've got any questions, there are 16 of you for 2 o'clock in the morning. Bless you. Nothing better to do. You madams. Mothership. Indeed, could be souls, could be spirits, could be angels, could be drones, could be galactic, could be nothing, could have just been tripping for some strange reason, could be blue beam, could be anything. Just to know there's a time to pay extra attention, is all. Extra attention. And Mandy, I cannot at 2 o'clock in the morning accurately explain, because if I'm making a mission an error or anything like that, then no, I am not prepared to go through it all. Basically, it comes from the Egyptians and it's classified as fucking hieroglyphs, yeah? It's not for us. Yes, we'll do that another time. There are videos on this channel where I do go through that, so if you'd care to skim through and look through the casts, you'll find all of that information in depth, accurately and concisely. So my sister, I leave it like that. I've already said it. Bless. All right. Nice one. I am smiling, so thank you. Much love, and we're going. All right, get to bed. Well, I saw one little light object, much like a mechanical lightning bug firefly, about a week ago. here in Penn, USA, where it's too early for them to be here. Yes, there are, Sandy. We don't take the mick out of anybody. We accept everything, whether we believe it or not is another thing, but we'll accept it all. Scribes, have you got any UFO stories for me? Because this is my shit. I love UFOs. Marie thinks it's weird that I've got a powerful laser, so I can say, hello, I'm here, come and get me. I'm not going to run away. I'm going to say, come on, let's have a chat. What's happening? What are you doing? What kind of magnets you got in that thing? I shit you not. Take me. I am a sovereign, self-governing private man, and I want to come on your ship. Take me away. Zoom me out of here. Orson. David calling Orson. Zoom me out of here. Calling Orson. So has anybody got any UFO stories? If you tell me you've been abducted, I don't think you can handle that, okay? So that's one way to end the cast. If not, we're ending. I am going to bed. I've got stuff to do again tomorrow on the day of the sun. So much to do. Sorry, the camera's not on. I look like Rabsy, so I thought I'd save you the pain. Some planes frozen in midair that no one else could see. I've seen some claims of that on Tube about these glitches in the Matrix, Pieman, but yet to see something freaky within the time lineage Matrix like that. No. It is funny that if you think about how a film is presented to you, now you know you've got laptops and you've got video editor suites, and you know that a DVD frame rate when you rip it is about 28 FPS frames a second, and you know about the encoding software and what video output property you can have, such as back in the day it was MPEG, MPEG 2, MP3 for audio, then you had MPEG 4 come out, DVD, which was basically MPEG 2 wrapped up in an interactive disc format for a player. Then it came out with your Blu-rays and your Ultra HD, FLVs and other such things way off from the AVI. So, we have these techniques of managing video. So I know that if you get a load of still images and you skim through them fast without no audio, it looks like the film's playing, and it looks like humans are moving on the screen, and it looks like they're moving seamlessly. Do you think about it? The way that we view things with our eyes is down to light bouncing off and gamma radiation and light photon refraction and interpretation of a biological brain that's got these rays and things feeding through it through the eyes. Now all this takes a little bit of time. So what you're actually viewing is giving off a reflection of which the light is then fed into your brain. That'll take some time. So whatever we view is somewhat old, which means we're always viewing the past. And then we look at how we view and what we view, and these frames per second is what we view at, which is called let me think of the exact word. It's called, is it fragmented? No, it's called something else. Like time is actually, and it's a scary word, which is why I want to think of it, what they say that time and space is actually bits. It's into bytes and bits. It's down into bytes and bits. So it was saying it was, what's the word now? Fractionalized, fragmented bits. It was not polarized, but it meant something like it was, it's a bad thing to think of when you think about the life, the reality in the realm that we're in. So fragmented, and time is in the perspective of gravity according to others. So you've got to work out a lot of things in this realm, and these Romans and these Christians and the churches and the pagans and where we're at now is something I want to bring to you. So yes, these planes freezing in midair is because we've got a pixelated, that's the word, we live in a pixelated universe. And the way that I know that is because they've done tests. When I was a little nipper, you used to be able to get holographic holographic pictures of Ghostbusters at the time when I was collecting Ghostbusters, and what you'd get in the Ghostbusters and the Garbage Pail. Remember the Garbage Pail? Windy Winston, Garbage Pail. Me and G Star was talking about this. He ordered a little book from eBay and got some of the chewing guards, the cards with the chewing gum in them. But the Garbage Pail kids, yes. What was I telling you about that? I've totally lost my train of thought and gone into the 80s with Windy Winston and the Garbage Pail kids. But yes, that was the word I needed to put in there. So when you work that out here, then the big G, the most high, is clearly out of time, is a time traveler. You can't be in time and out of time and predict time and, get in and out and interact like that. Clearly out of all time. You have the capability to move and go around, time itself, the time that you have to view and to be and to predict from 600 wherever, 300 whatever, before things have even been conceptualized, and then it happens to the letter. So the 10 countries, that statue, Nebuchadnezzar's dream, what the actual information I've put together there and that we've written down and it's in the book of Daniel, like the book of Enoch and the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the Emerald Tablets, Thoth, what's the other one with the self, in the Kabbalion, the self-initiates. These are the videos, and suddenly when you hear some of the publications, Antiquities of the Jews, Josephus. Oh, I used to be a DJ. I used to be cool. I used to be, baseline underground DJ, Club Shush, Sheffield, the Wicker Arches, round the realm, on sunny beaches, fancy little deep house club, poncy little up street. Do you know what I mean? And now what am I doing? What am I doing? Has it come to this? Oh, Mike Skinner, the streets. You're listening to pirate material. Listening to the pirate material. Got love for the streets. Has it come to this? Oh, what a lovely album that was, actually. Respect to Mike Skinner, because that really did help me. That Cry Your Eyes, Mate. A grand don't come for free. It don't, Mike, but you sure got a lot of money for a shitload of work there, didn't you, old Skinner? Skinner boy! So, Scribes, talk to me about UFOs before we go in. It's clearly time to end. No out-of-body experience, Monday, no. I wish I had. When I was on some DMT, I dare say that could be classed as what's the word? Self-inflicted OB. 9x rated every night TV, some six known as the... Okay. You're welcome, son. Tube vid, that's what we do. We're on the tube. I'm an entertainer. I'm a man. I'm a walking DVD. My actual name in Hebrew is DVD. When I saw that, I thought, I like being on Telebox now. I like having a chat. David, DVD, divide. We've got to divide the minds, lead them. The Pied Piper, the master of ceremonies. Rolling with the Estapida Ada Arcade. Yes, no, that's not Pied Piper. Do you really like it? Is it wicked? That's what we do. Give you devotion. Like Nomad. I wanna give you devotion. Taking it down, Mikey. I-K double E. Taking it out on Mikey. Good old days. Don't make tunes like they used to, do they? It's all about sex and not feeling your face. Shh. Where's the UFOs at? 51 I mentioned. I have seen little weird things when I've been camping with the fam and out and about, and things that beg a belief, but nothing like what I saw last night. That was a clear, no mistaking. There's a shitload of glittery things in there. It was like Tinkerbell had just taken a whole family shopping and there was travelling in some kind of clear bus, okay, and they was going very slowly, and she'd taken all 700,000 fairies from Neverland and they were going to big shop, like, big one of them big shops. I don't need to say a name, but they were going to a big shop, and I looked up as Tinkerbell and a Famalan were going shopping in the clear tube, and I just thought, what is this? Very silent, it's very big. It had no defined shape to hold anything. There was no noise, there was no expulsion, there was no deviation. They remained all together, clustered. They kept the same distance apart. They were very tiny, and it was a kind of foggy, weird night. So I'll be interested to see any such footage of. Bearing in mind the 2020 vision that's coming up, yes, there is a nuclear vision. There are many things happening. There are many seas moving. Rome being divided, and where we are now, the Club of Rome, the papacies. Okay, this is all not good for me to know, because the further on we go with our knowledge and upper standing, there's a new one for you, upper stand. The further on we go with our upper standing of this realm, and the further we go upwards and the stronger we get, the further back in time we have to go to get to that stage. So think about a seesaw, okay? And think about when somebody sits on it one end and somebody the exact same weight sits on it the other end. So what in fact would happen in my mind, not in real life, is that they would sit on it and they would both be hovering in the air. They're both hovering in the air. Now you would think that there's only these two gills. We'll put two gills on a seesaw. There's two girls at play here, but think about the middle of the seesaw there. There's like your what's that? Is that called a fulcrum or something? That bit in the middle that the seesaw is balancing on. So there's a third thing in place, something that's holding the seesaw plank on, so it can pivot in the middle to allow them two girls at the same weight, to sit there and swing seesaw up and down. So with time, you have the 0 AD after death, and I said 31 AD when the Romans nailed him up, and I said BC. When we go minus BC, further and further back, that's how, that's because we have to bring you stuff that's not so deep and not so far back. This is because we're moving forward now, that we can go further back and then go back into more detail and start immersing ourselves in the finer detailed names. And like I said about the First Crusade and Pope Urban, and the nastiness of that, and the Knights Malta and so forth. So we didn't make history or the law. All we can do is just look at it, follow it, research it, and correct it. Okay, so yeah, much love to you. I hope you enjoy this one. This publication is going to be deep, and it's going to cause controversy, and I'm willing to stand up with all of the clerics and the leaders and the amims and whomever else, and we'll have a chat. Since the Zeitgeist, which was many years ago, and the Zeitgeist amendment and everything else that's come out, nobody has come out really and gone, boom, isn't it? Because we need to carry on. It's not like it stops. There's more to come. There's more to come. There's more to expose. There's more to correct. There's further to go. There's inventions to be had. There's energy to unleash on an atomic, subatomic level. We're just sitting here waiting to be chipped, to get in line, to go and eat some more shit. No, thank you. We can automate everything, never have to work again, heal and fix everything. The replicator from Star Trek is just round the corner. I always thought once to make a printer that can print anything, that replicator and, hoverboards and stuff, we're there. We are there. There is nothing holding us back, Jack, except the shackles of the Club of Rome and the tentacles of the Crown of London, Washington, and the Vatican. It's its own little kingdom, the Vatican. Its own little kingdom. The first woman to have a baby in that kingdom, I shit you not, she will fuck that shit up. Oh, please, come on, who's with me? Find me a pregnant lady that's willing to take over the world. It's the simplest plan ever. MI5, are you hearing me? GCHQ, that's a big flaw you've left there. You've left a massive flaw. We might even parachute in, so, you better put a dome over that shit. Well, SAS that shit. Bosh. We're in. Now, pop. She's done. We're in. We have a sovereign born in the Kingdom of the Vatican. There is the heir to the entire world. Bosh. I thank you. Jesus pops down from a cloud, awards us all 5 gold stars, hoverboards, and says, chorus of angels. You found the keyhole. I love you guys. I need to sleep. All right, let's leave it at that. Okay. No, Mad Pie Man. Simply no. I love you, scribes. Enjoy the rewind. It's been an hour. I've got to go. It is like 2:20. Much love. Take it easy. Stay private. Stay self-governing. Stay researching. Stay sharp. Stay accurate. Stay concise. Clean conscience. And have a nice weekend.